Hello, my name is Dr. Crawford. Today I want to talk about a topic that I get asked about an awful lot, and that is weight loss. Let me just give you my take on this before I get into some of the details of what I think is a healthy way to lose weight. My main concern is someone's health, it's not their weight. So for me, it's health first, weight loss second. Now that being said, I do want to support a patient with their weight loss goals, but I want to do it with health first and foremost in mind. Now, I do understand that when weight is a problem, that many health issues, the risk goes up. Cardiovascular disease, inflammation, on and on and on and on. So definitely I support people in normalizing their weight, but again, I don't want weight loss to be the primary goal, I want health to be the primary goal. So that being said, let me get into what I call the don't list of weight loss. These are the things that I don't believe people should do in focusing on weight loss. I think that it's detrimental, and usually it doesn't lead to long-term positive results. First on the list, counting calories and restrictive calorie diets. I don't like them. I don't think they work. I don't think in the long run that they're very effective. I think that if you have the right diet and you're doing the other things that the body needs in order to get into balance, weight will normalize on its own. But counting calories can become an obsession. I've actually had people come into the office with computer printouts of everything they eat throughout the day. And they'll have printouts of how many bites of this and bites of that. That's an obsession. That's as much of an imbalance as any other health issue. You might as well be eating a Snickers bar. In fact, there has been studies showing that if you're that obsessed about every bite that you're eating, that it is unhealthy. So that's not good. That's way overboard. So I don't like counting calories. I don't like restrictive calorie diets. I think in most cases, people that do that, there is a rebound effect, and long-term success just isn't there. That being said, I don't like people to focus on scale weight either. I suggest that people get the scales out of their house when they're working on a health plan with the goal of normalizing their body weight. It will drive you crazy to get on that scale every 10 minutes, and that's what people wind up doing. And body weight will fluctuate throughout the day. But here's what happens. As somebody is on a program, which includes an exercise program, for example, what will happen is they'll actually be gaining lean muscle mass as they lose fat. Lean muscle mass actually weighs more than fat, so it is possible that you can actually increase your weight as you change your physiology and lose fat. Now, if you're just paying attention to that scale, that's going to just drive you crazy, and you're going to think that you're failing miserably when in fact you're not. You're succeeding very, very well. I know years ago in my own father's case, when he was on a program, he lost 5 inches around his waist before he lost a pound. Okay, so if he was just focused on the scale, he would have thought that he was failing when in fact he was succeeding, because he was exercising, he was actually gaining more lean muscle mass. That's the healthy way to do it. So get the scale out of the house, maybe once a month, that type of thing. But it's just it's nothing but frustration. So don't do that. Don't skip breakfast. A lot of people that have problems with their weight make this mistake. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you skip breakfast, you're throwing your blood sugar circuits all out of whack, and it actually promotes weight gain. So breakfast is breaking a fast from the previous night. Eat a good breakfast. Good idea to eat about approximately 25% of your calories for the day. At breakfast, make sure it's got a good protein source, and you're off to a good start. Another caveat here, do not make the breakfast just carbohydrates. A lot of people will have fruit and oatmeal. Nothing wrong with fruit and oatmeal, but get a protein in there. Fruit and oatmeal are all carbs. Get a protein in breakfast. Another mistake that people make is eating too late at night. Eating too late at night. Here's a good rule of thumb. Try to have 3 hours of no eating between dinner and bedtime. If you're eating late at night, you're messing up your digestion, it's setting you up for weight gain, it throws the hormones out of balance. The most important hormone for weight is a hormone called leptin that we'll elaborate on in a future video. But good rule of thumb, 3 hours if you can between dinner and bedtime. The big mistake most people make is a high carbohydrate snack. You know, they're drinking sodas and things like that right before bed. Recipe for disaster. You don't want to do that. Another rule of thumb that's in the don't list, and that is get away from snacking. Snacking is not good, and I hear people say all the time, well gee, I hear it's healthy to eat every 2 hours, etc. No, I realize that some people have such severe blood sugar imbalances that they need to have something every 2 hours, but that's not where you want to be. Ideally, you want at least 3.5 to 4 hours between meals, or else you're clogging up the liver and it promotes weight gain, etc. So snacking is not good, and particularly snacking on high carbohydrate, refined sugar snacks. Bad news. Bad news. Get them out. Get them out of the house. So let's talk about some do's. What do you want to do to promote normal weight? Number one, increase your protein. Protein will increase your metabolism, speed up your metabolism, and that's what you want. A lot of times there are slow metabolism issues with weight gain, particularly as we get up in years. Our metabolism will naturally have a tendency to decline. Increase your vegetables. As you increase your protein, you want to increase your vegetables. You cannot eat too many vegetables. You will not gain weight on vegetables. You also want to increase your water. Water has many, many benefits, one of which it helps normalize blood sugar, but also as you increase your protein, you need to increase your water. Exercise is not an option. You must exercise. Exercise just does so many great things. That'll be a video in and of itself, but you have to exercise to increase the metabolism. Now, if you're trying to lose weight, what I recommend is do your exercising first thing in the morning before you eat anything. So for weight gain, for weight loss, that's the best way to exercise. And then eat your breakfast after you do your exercise routine. Now, if you're not exercising now, I recommend start out easy. Start out 5 minutes a day and then build up from there. If you are exercising, let's add 5 minutes a day to your exercise routine. But exercise is not an option. You need to do it. So I recommend at least 4 times a week for the exercise. 5 or 6 is okay, but there again we need to qualify that depending on the individual. Decrease the sugar and decrease the grains. This is a biggie. Most people's weight problems is because of too much sugar in the diet and too many grains and other carbohydrates. Decrease the sugar. Refined sugar has no place in a healthy diet. Artificial sugars, that's another story, but that's even worse. Don't go to that. Don't think the diet is better. Stay away from the sugars, get the refined junk foods out of the diet, and also the grains. Everybody, even if they don't have a weight problem, will feel better when they make this change. Wheat flour, commercial wheat flour, I believe that everybody is better off if they don't take that into the body. There's really nothing good about it. It's devoid of any real nutrition. It's old. It's been in storage for a couple of years, generally before it's been made into a product. It's just not a good health food. So we want to get on live food. We want to get the junk sugars, carbohydrates out of the diet. Stress management, this is a biggie. Stress management, stress makes you fat. It also does a lot of other things to your mind and your body. It also makes you stupid. It actually has an effect on the brain. But stress actually does make you fat. That's why people under stress say, well, gee, I'm not eating much. And a lot of times under stress, people don't. People either don't eat or they will overeat under stress. But nonetheless, stress makes you fat. So we want a good stress management. You're not going to get rid of stress, but we need to manage it. And people that are under a lot of stress, the type of exercise generally that you want to do would be more slow-moving types of exercise. If you're under a lot of stress, you don't want to be over-exerting yourself. So I'm a big fan of yoga, tai chi, qigong, these types of exercises, particularly when people are under stress. So you can, even if you're not feeling real great, you can still do those types of exercises and not deplete yourself and get lots and lots of benefit. Digestive enzymes, I believe, are a must. A lot of people have weight problems because they're not digesting and metabolizing the food that they're taking in. Ideally, we should be getting our nutrition as much from our food as possible. Everybody needs digestive enzymes. Everybody probably doesn't need the same ones, of course, but everybody, particularly adults, do need digestive help. If you don't digest the food, it can become very toxic and just a burden for the body to deal with, and you don't get the benefit. Pardon me. So digestive enzymes can be very important. Here's another topic that relates to weight management that is a biggie because I see it all the time. I think it's of paramount importance. Detoxification. If the body is toxic, you will have trouble losing weight no matter what you do. The body actually stores toxins in fat cells. And that is to say that it will make fat in order to store toxins. So if the body is very toxic, you will have trouble losing weight. If the liver is toxic, for example, which is one of your major detox organs, you'll have a lot of trouble losing weight, and particularly around the midsection. So detoxification is very important. A lot of times the first thing that needs to be done is take the load off the body and do a detox, a specific detox for you. I'll give you a quick example. When dealing with things like yeast and fungal issues, Candida albicans, typically a patient will lose 12 pounds without doing anything else just by taking care of that particular issue. I've seen it time and time again. So for starters, we haven't even really started a weight loss program per se. We're just working on detoxification, taking that stress off the system, cleaning up the yeast and fungal issues, which make toxins that also wind up in the liver and poison the liver and wind up in the brain and cause cerebral swelling, etc., etc. A person will feel a whole lot better, lose a few pounds right off the bat, and then we're off and running. So detoxification is a biggie. And I think in many cases, probably the majority of the cases, it's a topic that needs to be paid attention to. A lot of times people will be doing a lot of right things and still not get the desired results. I recommend doing some tests. Let's see what's going on. I use lab tests all the time. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It can give us very important data. But if somebody has a severe thyroid problem, for example, they're going to have trouble losing weight. Their metabolism is going to be so slow and skewed that they're just going to have difficulty. It's a good idea to rule these things out. As somebody under a lot of stress, the adrenal glands may need to be pampered a little bit. Hormonal balance has a lot to do with weight, getting hormones in balance, and particularly again as the years go by, these are things that are probably in the majority of cases need to be addressed. If they aren't, what will happen if somebody just focuses on scale weight? We've all seen this. Yeah, people will lose the pounds, but what happens? It doesn't take long, it starts coming back, and in fact, it usually comes back greater than what the weight was before. And people wind up in this yo-yo dieting pattern that is unhealthy. Remember, I said I always put health first, weight loss second. That's an unhealthy cycle, and I hate to see people get into that. Now, that being said, besides the things that I've talked about here, the don'ts and the do's, you know, there are some things that you naturally can do to boost the thyroid, to boost your metabolism. One of my favorites is green tea. Green tea works marvelously. It does so many great things, normalizing blood sugar, increasing metabolism. It really does help with weight loss. Now, what if you've tried all these things and you're still having difficulty? I'm going to just suggest something here. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail, but I'm just going to throw this out. This is something I learned from Michael Wickett many years ago. Take a look at what you're holding on to. Take a look at what you're holding on to. And the number one thing you want to look at with weight loss is forgiveness issues. Okay, so what I suggest is this exercise. Sit down and make a list, and you go back as far as you can remember of everything that you can remember, every bad thing that was done to you, and also maybe everything that you have done that you haven't forgiven yourself for. And you make a list and you work on the forgiveness there, because believe me, that harbors into the body, particularly in the liver, and if those things have not been released, you'll have a hard time losing weight. So again, that'll be a topic we'll elaborate on another day, but I just want to throw that out there, that that's not an uncommon scenario. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got something out of this. Let me be sure to remind you to go to my website. We have lots of DVDs available, and tons of information there, and see you again.